Around 1800 is when English ivy was introduced to the United States, and it was used very popularly through formal gardens and in landscapes. Unfortunately, it has run rampant since, including up our trees. And the ivy can smother the tree. It's very bad to have this ivy going up the tree. And the fact that it traps moisture underneath the ivy and actually causes the protective bark layer of the tree to rot and to slough off, which kills the tree. Because you have to understand the life processes of this living organism, a tree, is right underneath that bark. So you have to be careful, and we have to ensure that nothing damages that bark. But as you assess and look at the ivy, these vines can last for many, many years, and you can see how they get larger and larger with age, some of them becoming actually 6 to 7 inches of cross if given the time. Here at Maimon a number of years ago, I started a campaign of attacking the ivy on our trees. And initially we used clippers, and we found that that was really ineffective, and though we switched over to a hatchet. And what we did was we got a nice lightweight hatchet, and we made sure that it was sharp. And that's the important critical piece, is to sharpen your hatchet so it's a nice, clean, sharp edge. And what we do is we start way at the bottom of the tree to start cutting the ivy there. You know, when you have 2,000 trees, you find the most efficient way to do something, and we've learned that chopping away at these vines at the very base is the best way to do it. We want to make sure that we have a nice light touch so that we're cutting the vines and we're not cutting into the bark of the tree, because what we don't want to do is damage this bark at all. And as we chop around, we're also assessing what's going on with the tree, and we sometimes come upon areas such as this where we can see that the vine is growing into the trunk of the tree, and we're going, oh my. So we've got to come on down and look at it. We want to be able to get it right down there at the base, and this is where you want a nice sharp axe so that you can move on. And I always make sure it's free. I make sure that it's definitely disconnected before I move on, and that will kill all of that right there. But, you know, again, getting back to my task of very lightly tapping and cutting these vines until I make my way all the way around. People ask, do we pull it off? No, about August it'll all slough off, nice and neat. So get your little axe, get it nice and sharp, and take a few minutes and go out and save a tree.